The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Happiness Jungle TV show with yours truly, Lyn-Dee Eldridge, your Chief Happiness Officer. I am thrilled today to help so many of you that have been just wishing and praying for a baby and going through such a hard time. You know, I do remember when I was trying to get pregnant many years ago, and that just wasn't happening for me. And I understand the feeling of wanting, desiring, praying for it to happen. Well, today I'm very excited to share with you a woman that's out of Texas, Dallas, Texas, and she is a fidelity specialist. And today's show is titled Infidelity Can Suck Less. I love that title. So without further ado, I'd love to bring her on. I want you to all give a warm welcome, even from your couches, because she is just full of happy solutions for you on how to be able to get out of this rut that you feel that you're in. And let's go ahead and welcome her on, Miss Pradeepa. Miss Pradeepa, how are you?
Hi, Lyn-Dee. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity today to talk to your people, and I'm so grateful to be on here today.
Well, I'm thrilled to have you on as well. So how did all of this start, that you were helping so many people that are trying to start their families? How did all of this start?
Yeah, so it started with my own personal struggles with infertility. I've gone through, almost like 12 years of struggles with infertility myself. I'm just going to throw some acronyms. These are fertility treatments. I actually had 3 miscarriages, and following that, I was referred to fertility specialist. So typically when you go on with fertility specialists, they start with some drugs and then some treatments. So like everybody else, I was also given drugs that didn't work for me, and then moved on to the treatments. So with regards to the treatments, I had 3 Intra Uterine Insemination. So that's a first level treatment that they give. 3 of them back to back, it did not work. And then once it didn't work, our doctor recommended, okay, let's go on to this next level, which is IVF, called In Vitro Fertilization. And that still is a golden standard for fertility treatments today. So I was, I started my treatments. The problem was, none of the treatments worked for me. I took almost 8 times IVF cycles, back to back failures. And that really changed me, and it changed me as a person. It really challenged me as a person. There was so much emotions. There was so much of pain. I was stuck physically. I was stuck mentally. I was stuck emotionally and spiritually. I was tested in all angles as a person. I wasn't making great decisions when I was going through this. I tried to find support. I went to some support groups. I tried with some counselor. None of them personally helped for me. I was looking for something like, what's moving forward for me? Where am I going to go from here? Because nothing seems to be working. And I was so shameful. I was so frustrated. I was so jealous of other people getting pregnant around me. Not a mean kind of jealousy, but why not me? Right? What's wrong with me? I kind of walked around, Lyn-Dee, with this big question mark on top of my head. That's an imaginary question mark. Why me, right? Why did you choose me to be this way? That's how I felt for such a long time. And I never had those answers at that time. Why me? I don't know why me, but it just is not happening. So we tried these treatments that I'm talking about, the in vitro fertilizations. They are like really long and high disciplined treatments. Each treatment will take about like from start to finish about like 2 to 3 months worth of timing. So 8 of them is just imagine the time frame, how much I have to go through this. A lot of injections, a lot of discipline, a lot of medications. The only thing that the doctors didn't do to both of us is cut open us and look inside. Apart from that, me and my husband, we had to go through so many tests, so many, different types of tests, different types of medications. It's just exhausting.
Mm-hmm. I know that so many people are relating to you right now, and they're just reaching out for help in every way possible. They're trying to reach out and find the answers. And the first thing that I really want people to understand is I don't want you to think about the why me. I'm very, very big on what's the purpose. So share with us. So how many children do you have?
I have one son, and we adopted him. After the 8th IVF failure, we decided to go with the adoption route. In my IVF cycles, we also tried donor eggs. That means they didn't use my eggs. We had somebody else donate their eggs, and we used theirs, and that didn't seem to help me either. That didn't seem to work for us either. So after the 8th failure, my husband even said like, hey, we still have the age. Maybe we'll go for one more try. And at that time, I don't know what happened to me. I just put my foot down and said like, no, let's not do this. I cannot do this anymore. We have to stop here. And he respected whatever my decision was. And we talked about like, what do we want to do next? And we both decided that adoption is the route that we wanted to take. So we started our adoption paperwork immediately after my 8th cycle. And it took 5 years, Lyn-Dee, to bring our son home. So we brought him home in 2016 in September, and my life has changed truly for the better, and he's such a blessing in my life. And that's part of my why, like why me? Like there is my why. This is what was waiting for me as a gift at the end of my journey. And also, you talked about purpose. To me, I'm also pretty big. I mean, like I uncovered my purpose as a fertility coach only like a year and a half ago. Basically, somebody asked me this question, like, Pradeepa, I know you are a life coach and all, like, what's your thing? I never had a thing before. He was asking for my specialty. That was a pretty powerful question for me to explore. And somehow I said, like, when he was asking for that question, I wanted to be a minority women coach because, I'm a minority woman here in the States, and I wanted to coach those people to feel more empowered. And then along with that, I said I wanted to be an adoption coach because we have just adopted our son. So I know how that process is, and sometimes that can really test you as a person. It can test your patience. All sorts of different things can happen with adoption. So I told people like I told him that I want to be an adoption coach. Nowhere from there, I just blurted out like I wanted to be a fertility coach. I surprised myself by saying that out loud because nobody until then knew about my personal struggles with infertility, and I have kept it so hush-hush. It was just between me and my husband and my doctors and my parents and my husband's parents, and that's it. Nobody else knew about all the struggles and pains that I have been having with my 12 years of struggles with infertility. People knew
there's a lot of people like that are just, they feel ashamed, and by goodness, you should never feel ashamed. Never feel ashamed. Yeah. So, from what I understand, you have an adopted, wonderful son.
Yes.
No, you don't have biological children.
No.
And you help others get through their trying times of having that struggle. And so how do you help others? Share with me. Yeah. How does that work?
So I'll just finish the piece that I was talking about. So when I talked about infertility and being a fertility coach, I felt a different sensation in my body all over, and like, oh my God, like there's something happening here, and I can feel it. This is different, and I have never felt before. And my heart started beating really, really faster. And what I did was, it was at a conference, so I experimented with other people. Like when I introduced myself as a person, I introduced myself as an adoption coach, or as a fertility coach, or as a minority women coach. And Lyn-Dee, only when I introduced myself as a fertility coach, I was getting that same feeling over and over again. I get like tingling sensation in my body, goosebumps, and my heart started beating faster, and you just feel different. I just felt different. And it happened over and over again. And came back from the conference. That's when I knew it. This is who I am. I am a fertility coach. This is why, I have to go through my 12 years of struggles. This is my why. Finally, I have an answer to the question that I have been asking for so long. So then that's the day, I smiled really big to myself and said, like, thank you, God, and thank you, universe, for showing me my life's purpose. So ever since, I am a fertility coach, and Lyn-Dee, my mission is to help men, women, and couples infertility journeys suck less.
I absolutely love it. So again, you go back to what I share with my clients, not why me, but what's the purpose. And because of all of this, you found the purpose. So life is strange. Life is weird. It happens to us. And I'm just so excited and so blessed that you found your purpose through this horrific journey of yours, and now you're able to help others accomplish just feeling lighter about themselves. So what do you do for couples and for men and women that are in this situation? And I love the title, by the way, Infertility Suck Less. I love that.
Yes. Yep. # suck less.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So what is that you do?
Yeah, it's a sucky journey, and no matter what, it's going to be a sucky journey. And that's why I'm not saying suck free, because you are going to, if people decide to go for treatments and such, it is going to suck to some degree. And what I am trying to do is partner up with these people and truly coach them and truly help them from the emotional standpoint, from how they take their mindset and where they have this mindset and the different emotions that come into play, like shame, anger, sadness, frustration, jealousy. People typically don't admit. I never admitted that I was jealous. Now I'm openly talking about it, but going through shame is a pretty big thing. And other people's expectation, right? When are you going to have a child? When are we going to see our grandchild? Things like that, right? Sometimes you just feel like I need to go and hide, or make me invisible, please, right? I want to have that cloak where I just become invisible so people are not asking me those questions. Oftentimes, we just don't know how to go about answering those things. I used to dread phone calls from families and friends, wondering like, when are they going to ask me the tough question and what will I tell them, right? I didn't want to tell people that I'm going through fertility treatments, because that was like, oh my God, like there is something wrong with me, right? I cannot reproduce. That's such a basic thing as a woman. If I can't do that, there is something wrong with me, and I am ashamed of that, and I cannot talk about that to other people, and I cannot tell my friends or family about it. So I used to dread phone calls, and I used to avoid all my family they're all in India, and avoided going to India for 4 years straight, Lyn-Dee, giving, pardon my language here, all sorts of bullshit reasons why I can't go. The only reason why I didn't want to go is not to face those questions. I was so fearful. I didn't want to face those questions. And I know people who are listening to this, if you are going through something like this, a lot of these things I'm telling people will resonate with them. People sometimes, feel very stuck. The calendar days may go on, but as a person, if things are not going correct, if things are not going well with your journey, with your treatments, you'll be just clueless. Oh my God, what am I going to do next? If failure after failure is happening, and it just puts the person down, it just sinks them down. I used to give this analogy, like I felt like I was sinking in a sinkhole where only my face is up like this, and I was like desperately waiting for a twig to hold on to come up. So that's how I know. People that I'm talking to, a lot of people feel that way. It basically takes over your life, not
That's
just
right.
Yeah, it takes over your life. It takes over your relationship, Lyn-Dee.
It's true. It's absolutely true. So let's go ahead and move forward, because you're not going to believe it, but we're almost out of time. And the reason that the Happiness Jungle show exists, we're in our third season, over 100 episodes, is because we give solutions to the audience. We want to uplift them and make them realize that, first of all, everything does have a purpose, and to move forward. So let's start with giving solutions. I'm coming to you first time. I'm in this situation. What is the process that you take couples through to lighten up this heavy weight that's on their shoulders?
Yeah. First, really, truly understanding where they are coming from, because this takes a toll on relationship. Like I said, it takes a toll on relationship, and it did for me as well. So one thing that there are 3 tips that I wanted to offer your audience with regards to with regards to the relationship, how to make it a little bit more easier. One, truly appreciate each other, right? We often fail to appreciate each other because, you are in your own islands going through your treatments, and you fail to see what the other person is trying or doing for each other. So take a moment and truly appreciate each other. If your husband is coming for treatments, or if you're a wife, if you're going for treatments with your husband, like acknowledge that, hey, this means so much to me. So thank you so much for being there for me. That puts a light into, oh my God, we are in this together. We are not alone here, right? So there is one of that. And number 2.
So the first thing is compassion.
Yes, absolutely. Have compassion. Okay. Compassion for each other, and appreciate each other, right?
Yes.
Truly and genuinely appreciate the small things about each other, especially with regards to this. Number 2, I also wanted to talk about being, so this is a tip that I often share with couples. Look at each other in the morning or whatever time. Hold your hands, look at each other, see each other in your eyes, and say, together we can get through this too. Together we can get through this too. This should never be the problem in their life. This is life. If people are married, there is more to relationship than just the infertility challenges. It may seem bigger right now. So having a saying like that reinforces each other that, okay, we are in this together, and we will together get through this as well, like anything else that is thrown in our way. So kind of reconfirming with each other will really, really help people. And number 3, right now, together as a couple, your life may suck because of this. Your relationship may be, tumbling down a little bit, but don't forget, always remind each other of why did you came together in the first place, right? What made you each other say, I do in the first place? So think about those things. And sometimes it's worthwhile looking at your older photo albums, or, if you don't have a photo album, like even looking at your phone and scrolling through your old pictures and reminding each other of the wonderful memories that you have made so far in your marital journey or in your relationship journey. That can really help people remind of the good times, even though the things may not be looking so great right now. But reminding each other of the good times really help couples put a positive perspective, irrespective of how the journey is going and irrespective of what the outcome is going to be in the future.
I like that. I like what you're saying. You know, when prior to me having my daughter, I had 3 tubular pregnancies, and I really didn't think that I'd be able to have a good pregnancy. So I truly do understand how everybody feels. It was 6 years before I had a successful pregnancy. But during those 6 years, you know, it wasn't clear to me, why aren't I one of the chosen one to have a child? And I didn't look at it again. You know, it was just a very trying time. But I love what you say about as long as the couple stays united and they have compassion for one another and they stay linked with love, everything is possible. And how many times do we hear many people, they go ahead and they adopt a child, and then boom, then there's all of a sudden the pregnancy that they've been wanting. So sometimes subconsciously we're thinking so hard and working so hard towards it that it's not happening. What is your outlook about that?
Absolutely. And we are so, I mean, I used to be that person, right? You're so into this, you won't think about anything else. Right from day, getting up in the morning, even sometimes in your dream, this is all you think about. And I used to be addicted to Google, searching desperately for answers every day. Tell me, what tea should I take? What pill should I take? What herb should I take? What yoga classes should I go to? Right? You are desperately, and I used to be one of that person, desperately looking for answers, comparing my numbers, like my like test result numbers with other people, looking for hope. Like, does this look hopeful? Will this be my time to get pregnant? I mean, I used to spend so much wasted time doing all these things, right? Rather than putting my energy and thinking about things more positively. And I'm guilty of that. That's why, like when you are going through the ruts like this, you need somebody like me who has gone through this and truly understand where people are coming from. I can completely empathize and relate with people when they talk about their stories. It may not be the same, but I have gone through something very similar as well. I have walked the walk for 12 years. So I truly understand. And having somebody like me, doesn't matter where you are in your journey, whether it's the beginning, whether it's the middle, or whether you have exhausted pretty much all your options. It doesn't matter. Working with somebody like me will really help people see their blind spots that they may not be able to see for themselves. And I was struggling with that when I was going through this. Nobody was there to help me see my blind spots. And that's why I felt stuck. It took, after I said no to the last treatment, after we started with our paperwork with adoption, Lyn-Dee, it took me 3 years for me to get peace with myself, to truly move on, because my goodness, I have tried everything. I've gone for treatment to treatment, and I have put in so much discipline, yet nothing worked for me. Why, right? That big why was still lingering. And it took 3 years, Lyn-Dee. That's a lot of time in my life. 12 years of my life was spent on dealing with this. And it sucked. It truly sucked. And that's why I'm calling out for people. Don't struggle in silence, because I was one of those person. I used to sit in my car one day for 3 hours, not wanting to go inside my home because it reminded of the hopeless reality with infertility. And Don't be that person. I have gone through the darkest of the dark places, and I have come out of it. Work with somebody like me so that your journey doesn't have to suck.
I love that about you. And I love that you're reaching out and you're helping so many others really just put it all together. And I got to share with you, there are so many children out there that are in foster care, that are wanting love and wanting homes and wanting a mom and dad. And maybe the purpose is that we're also supposed to be giving our hearts to those children. And maybe your purpose is that it's your time to look into adoption. So much love is needed and desired out there that maybe it's God's way of saying, I have a child for you. It's just this child, boy or girl, is just someplace else, just waiting for you to appear. That could be a purpose.
That could be a purpose. And that's what I'm here to help people find what their purpose is, what their next step is, and what their moving forward plan looks like. It can be any of these different things that you just shared or much more. So that's why I'm here. I am here to help you find what's next.
I love it. I love that they have somebody who they can communicate with and they can talk to that's been through it. I love that they could talk to somebody that found out that their purpose was to adopt and to stop the insanity, And I believe, because I know that if I did not have my daughter, if I didn't have that healthy pregnancy, that I would have absolutely gone the route of adoption, because I want to love and give more to a child, to bring them up in the world that's as crazy as can be, to give them the chance just to become everything and more. So I'm going to repeat that again. Maybe your purpose that God has for you, because God has a plan for all of us, and maybe that plan is for you to be parenting a child that is worthy of your love, that may not come out of you biologically, but boy, you're going to feel that they were resting underneath your heart for 9 months just because of the renewity of being able to go out there and touch somebody else's lives. And there are so many children in the world that are just waiting for the perfect adoption parents. Maybe that's the purpose. How do they get in touch with you? We are almost out of time.
Yeah, so it's pradeepafertilitycoach.com. All information is there. And I also have a new online course. The link is in my website. And for your audience, I wanted to give this special discount code, SUCKLESS, one word, SUCKLESS, for $50 off of the course price. So again, it's pradeepafertilitycoach.com.
Pradeepa, you are a pleasure, you are a blessing, and I am so thrilled and excited that you are on the Happiness Jungle TV show. And for everybody, nobody ever said life was easy, but we did say you can be happier, and she's got some amazing solutions. And I hope that you'll just relax a little bit more and love your partner a lot more. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.